Hi, I'm Carrie.
I'm Chemda, and we're Gilmore Friends.
And we just finished episode 2.
Where I held my breath the entire time.
I've never seen a single second of, well, as of yet, no, I have. I'm watching it in real time. I didn't know anything, and I finally saw episode 2. I watched Chemda have freaking panic attacks while I was watching it.
So I've watched this show and this episode a million times, and in my mind, because I've watched Gilmore Girls so much, there's so much to every episode, and I have all these memories of characters doing things and drama being formed, and really it's just toxic, back and forth, and I'm like, is anything happening in this episode? Is Carrie enjoying it? It's so difficult to like a show and watch it with somebody for the first time.
It's true.
I said it in the first episode. You cannot be enjoying me watching you watch this episode. Like you said, I look like I'm having an aneurysm. So you got to tell me and
I don't
be
think
honest.
you blinked for 44 minutes. Like, are your eyes okay? I don't think
know.
you breathed. I don't think you took a full breath in 44 minutes.
I don't know.
But I'm not watching you. I'm just watching the show, man.
Okay. So what did you think in general?
But I know what you mean. If I have a favorite movie and I'm like, you got to watch my favorite movie, and like you look down for 1 minute, I'm like, you missed an important thing. And like, yeah. So
I don't, I have said, I'm like, you missed something. I'm like, stop looking down. Don't look away.
Yeah. Because I'm writing. I am
know.
writing like this, I'm not texting. I'm like writing notes. I like this episode. I like it better than the first one.
Oh,
because now we're getting into, we understand the dynamics a little of the characters.
Okay.
So should we just go through my major notes?
Yeah. So it opens up with Lorelai doing Rory's toenails, and we both had the same thought, it seems.
Yeah, and the same thought was, did your mom ever paint your toenails when you were like over 5?
Yeah.
No.
I wasn't allowed to get my nails polished, so definitely I was over 5. I believe the first time I did was for my bat mitzvah, and I had to beg for it. I was like, everyone's getting it, like, it's my day, I'm a woman now. I don't know. I probably came up with all of it, and I got my nails done, and they were French manicure.
You got French manicure for your bat mitzvah?
Mm-hmm. I
Nice.
loved French, yeah.
Cool.
With my little stubby little fingers.
I did not have a bat mitzvah, but there was a time in my life where I would take a red Sharpie and ink my nails.
That's what bad girls did.
That's what a creative 4-year-old does. I wasn't
you're
bad.
4. Okay.
I just wanted red nails. It was this is a logical.
I thought you were like semi-goth and cool.
Do you remember those cheeses, the Baby Bell cheeses that came in the red wax?
Mm-hmm.
That wax I would press onto my nails to make red nails.
Oh,
the Baby
that's so
Bell
creative.
cheese wax.
You hear that? You guys should do that.
Yeah, because it's the specifically the pull tab, because it came off in a strip.
You made press-on nails.
Yeah, I made press-on nails with the wax from the Baby Bell.
That's actually cool, I think.
Yeah.
But your mom didn't do your toes?
My mom did not paint my toes when I was 16. Also, Rory is casually holding a can of Cool Whip or Ready Whip.
You're calling it Whippets. That's who you are, not Rory.
But why is she just holding a can of Ready Whip? It's so weird. Why?
Because cool girls eat junk food just straight out of the can, bro.
It's not even that junky. Like, if it was going to be junk food,
very
like,
junky.
go in. Like
That's
that, because she's such a dork that, like, Ready Whip is, like, her junk food. But we don't see her, like, I feel like that was just, like, a sponsor or something. It was very weird. So going down the, so this was Rory's first day at Chilton. And Lorelai wakes up late, and everyone's freaking out, and she doesn't have time. Not only does she not have any clean clothes, her entire wardrobe is at the cleaners, and the only thing she has is like super high cutoff jean shorts and like a super tight pink top and cowboy boots.
I'm convinced, of course, that this is a Halloween costume. She looked great in it. Those legs, I wish. Right?
I mean, and she's tiny.
She is tiny. I just feel like she had to. that outfit only goes with the cowboy boots, so she couldn't wear sneakers. She had to put the cowboy boots on to complete the look. I also think her pajamas would have been more appropriate.
I thought that too.
I think yesterday's clothes would have been more appropriate.
Wear the pajamas and say, I'm in pajamas.
Yeah. I think like you everything, like your jeans get dry cleaned, everything. Also,
Everything.
you don't know this, but they have a washer dryer. So like, let's say you can't wear your dry clean clothes, which was such a big deal back then.
And then she picked it up. It didn't look like her entire wardrobe. You know, like when she picks it up later in the episode, she's not holding a wardrobe's worth of dry cleaning.
I thought that too.
She didn't have she didn't have a pair of jeans.
Are your underwear in the dry cleaner? Like, is every t-shirt in the dry cleaner? Like,
I don't believe it. I mean, I understand, like, for the plot we needed, but come on now. I think they could have done, like, if she had rolled out of bed and, like, if that's what she wore to bed, it would be more believable that she showed up to school, like, in, like, pajamas.
I don't believe that she ever wears that outfit. But I know you don't know her very well yet. But I don't know. I don't believe that anyone's wardrobe is ever fully, like, take something out of the, I don't know.
I mean, I will wear something out of the hamper, whatever.
Yeah.
Also,
How
I don't
dirty are your
But also, like,
clothes?
the ecosystem of my laundry nothing is ever 100% dirty. That's not how
Right.
my ecosystem works. It's like, we can do like a 40-60 split dirty to clean, and then you do laundry. Like, you never wash 100% of your clothes. Okay, whatever.
No, and also,
too much
like,
time on that.
I'm not a construction worker, and neither is she, where, like, you're coming home and those clothes need to be laundered. You cannot be in public with
Right.
them again.
Right.
Like, you sweat, you did some, like, actual labor.
Right.
Wear yesterday's suit. Nobody.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I know. That's a whole thing. And
It's a whole thing. Whatever. We needed it for the plot.
Yeah.
We needed her to have some embarrassment. But I did
a
see
lot of this show is aesthetic, and the aesthetic is very memorable, and this is one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Mm-hmm. So for Halloween, have you gone as Lorelai on the first day of school, Halloween costume?
I do not have those legs. I never had those legs. And no, that would have been a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the Rory's costume has the school crest on it, which was one of the icons on our merch. So I'm checking that one off, that I
Yes.
finally saw the school crest. First day of school, and on an establishing shot, I saw the gazebo finally that I've been hearing about for months.
And as a person who has seen the show over and over again, I want to hear from people who have seen it again and are now seeing it through your eyes. It actually is. It's a treat. It's such a treat, because the way you respond to certain characters, I'm like, oh, she doesn't know. And I already have everyone's, like, backstory and front story and all of it.
Yeah. So you see how so we immediately get introduced to Ian Jack, and
Yeah.
like he's like a distinguished, like, New England white man, you know, like, dad.
I am
And
so turned off by that guy.
he
I get that
has
he's
a-
handsome. His whole
he has
thing.
a slime vibe, because he met her and then 2 hours later he shows up at her work.
I mean, I also think that is how men were depicted. Like, they push forward. You know, if they like you, they show it. So
this is this, like,
yeah,
when a guy's interested in you, this is what he'll do, and, like, that's what we thought men did. And
Yes.
it's a little weird.
it's actually what narcissists do when they love bomb. So
Right.
we've been misled a little bit in TV back in
Yes,
the day.
but this is why. And this
Yeah.
guy grew up on that stuff too.
True.
You know?
But I just that's not my vibe for a partner. What do you think? Because he's obviously handsome.
Not my
you know.
guy.
Yeah. Okay.
No. I mean,
And also, have you ever seen your mom flirt? Like, that's so awkward.
I have.
You have?
Yeah. I think it's very funny.
Yeah.
I like it.
What does it feel like? Because he was
I don't
into
know. I'm
her
just
and she was into him, and it was obvious. If you saw that with your mom and someone, would that be comfortable?
Yeah. I'd be like, go get it.
Oh, I love that. I
Or
do
like,
not
he
have
seemed
that.
into you. Like, I'd be reading his body language and be like, he seemed into you. Or like, no, he's an
And
idiot.
then would you talk about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because because mom's hot. And
My
I
mom
think-
my mom would be so grossed out because she's so, like, I've only been with one person. You only need to be with one person, and anyone else who like tries to get in the middle of that or is like a destruction person, like a person who's trying to, like, we don't believe in the devil, but like it's very devilish behavior. Like,
right.
This is my daughter, and I'm a married woman, and like you even thinking that we can talk casually and comfortably is not, like, this is mixed company.
No,
and
that's
we don't even talk about the same things with men that we do with women. That's not a thing.
That's very formal and very weird. No, I
That was my mom.
My mom saw me flirting with a bartender once. My mom and I were staying together in a hotel room. I'll have to set it up a little bit. And we went down to the hotel bar.
Holy
and
shit.
The bartender was super cute, and I was flirting with him. This is many, many years ago. And she goes, I get back to like the little table, and she goes, ask him when he gets off work. And I was like, for what? We're staying in the room together. Like, how does that work? Am I, like, we have an event tomorrow. Like, we're not, what am I going to go back to his place and then come back to our room at like 4 a.m? Or am I going to invite him to our room and you have to stay down here until how is this gonna go? I mean, what time do you get off work?
See,
I'll leave a towel on the doorknob for my mom. Like,
too
what?
far.
So my mom had not thought this all out, and she was like, yeah, I guess that would be a bad idea. I'm like, I'm all for flirting, but like, I'm not gonna ask the bartender when he gets off work.
But that's so generous, right? Like, in like vibe wise, that's so sweet of her to be like, hey, let me just let you know that I'm cool with this by being friendly about it and bringing it up. My mom, I would try to cover every time, like anytime I find someone cute or like interesting, or even like, I would be like, please don't say any boy's name around my mom when we were like, in her car or anything.
Oh my
in
God,
her presence,
she'd be like,
because she
who's
would
Ian?
actually,
Who's Ian Jack?
Yeah, what's his last name? And I'm like, are you looking him up? I'm just like, I wasn't the one who brought it up. Like, so-and-so was. Like, I didn't. And she's like, do you like him? I'm like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing.
God,
because
that's so...
if I showed any interest, and it wouldn't be a lot to show interest, she'd almost be embarrassed for me. Like, I'm being so forward and so...
Oh my God.
Like, that's kind of slutty. Like, she wouldn't use that word, but it's forward, and forward is not what nice girls do. Yeah. So that's my mom.
We see Rory a little bit embarrassed. I don't think she's embarrassed that her mom is flirting. I think she's just like, this is not the time or place.
Yeah, she's like not on time
she's
for
like,
school.
I have to go.
She's one focus, which fair enough,
So then we get to the schoolmaster. What's his name? The
headmaster.
Hanlon. Schoolmaster?
Headmaster.
Headmaster.
Yes. I love any title with the word master in it. Just makes me like vomit great. A little in my mouth.
Such a throwback. Right?
Yeah. Even master bedroom. I'm like, dude.
I was just gonna say,
come on.
Like, the schoolmaster sleeps in the master bedroom. But we saw saddle shoes. Saddle shoes are on the icons list, so we're checking that out. That's 3. I think we're only like 10 minutes into the episode, and we're like 3 of these are checked off.
A lot of these happen pretty quickly.
I noticed a thing that I see on screen, which is the snooty New England accent. It's not quite British, but it's we're from New England.
We enunciate and we sound exactly. Like we're
welcome
trying...
here at Chilton, we expect you. So she gets a whole lecture. I would have burst into tears. I'm glad she held it together. Rory did, but he gives her a whole lecture.
She's looking for that. She's looking for that. She's looking for more of a challenge, more intellect, more books, more pushing on information. So, like, to me, she dealt with it really well. She also dealt
but why
with
was he so like cartoonish?
Because that's what the school is.
And the mom was there, which was like totally awkward. And like then the mom demands that Lorelai take off her coat.
Yeah, Grandma was there. I wanted to ask you what you thought of that. Because here's the thing. You came to them and said, I need you involved in this by giving me money. And you know that Grandma is taking that as an invitation to be involved in your life. And honestly, like, that is your interest paid. You know, like if you went to the bank, you pay interest with money. You went to Grandma And so you're paying interest with this. So like, you know, when I first saw it, I'm like, wow, she's so overbearing. Like, what makes her think she can come to the first day of school? And then like, as I'm getting older, I'm like, well, what's making her think she can do this is that you involved her in this. And she said, in exchange for this money, I'm going to be a part of your life. Also, she knows the way snootiness is handled because she's a snot herself. She's very, very obvious about that. So she knows it is proper to bring in whoever it is to put weight on the side of your grandchild so that she can have a better time there. She knows that connections mean a lot in this kind of world. And she knows that she's good friends. They just had salmon puffs or whatever the hell. So,
yeah. That's I thought it was. I see it as two things. One, she feels like she is greasing the wheels a little bit because she has a relationship with Hanlon, and that you know the wives are friends.
Identify this child.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
me.
So you have right, like she's from good stock kind of
Yes.
thing, like you know. But also, it is about control. Money is control.
Yes.
And like, if you want me to pay, I'm gonna be able to control this situation a little bit, and if you. But the implication is if you mess this up, I can take back the money. And like, this is one of the reasons I hate borrowing money. If I've ever borrowed money is because you feel this much indebted and controlled, you know, you try to pay it back immediately so that you don't feel like this person owns you, you know?
Yeah. And there's also the side of Emily, the grandma, that says, hey, this is my world. Your trashy butt is entering in my world with that outfit. I knew it, and you're just proving me right. And you are ruining my reputation that I actually care about. You're putting your daughter in a school where they care about that reputation, and you're not coming up to where this is. And you don't understand that in this, somehow you don't understand, even though you grew up in this, that this is not the way of working things. So this has a lot. I mean, I encountered this growing up. You know, I would come back home. I lived in the East Village, and you know, I would like take my butt home to Queens and be like, well, now I'm a proper girl with my family, and then go out like at midnight, stay out until 6 a.m. and then come back and it's like, it's Rosh Hashanah. Amen to you too. L'chaim.
Yeah.
You know, so, but like, what, you know, you kind of like keep coming up against this in this show is like, what is proper? And in what setting do you have to be that version of proper when you involve those people?
Right.
So that's I think it's the give and take. And it's like, I think everybody's right, you know? Like Lorelai's right. This is BS. But grandma's right. No, you entered this place. This is where your daughter wants to go.
Right. This is the vibe of this place. And like, this is the code of like behavior here. Yeah. I mean, it's a little over the top, I think, because it's the introduction.
Yeah.
And like, I just feel like everyone we meet from this point on is a cartoon character. We find out that Rory has journalism goals, which I think is interesting that they plant this in episode 2. She's very clear. She doesn't say something like something. She like names like a hero and like, I want to be just like her and like travel and learn. I like that. We've switched back to Lorelai. God damn it. Edit that out. Take that out.
Don't you dare.
We're on
That's
episode
my
2.
favorite.
It's too late. It's too late.
And in this episode, they say Lorelai so many times.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, because Rory's name is Lorelai, and she has to check in. My name is Lorelai. You can call me Rory. It's Lorelai or Rory. Pick which one.
I see.
Pick one, you know.
So you're saying there's no reason I should be messing it up at this late stage.
I messed up introducing my own name to this episode, so it's fine.
That's good.
Yeah.
We see flannel shirt. Flannel shirt is on our icons list, and we see the no cell phone sign, which is the circle line with a cell phone in it, which is so cute because this is in 2000 where they are not ubiquitous yet.
Right.
I think that the Patty character, which is the dance teacher, is
Miss Patty. Mm-hmm.
What's that? Miss Patty.
Mm-hmm.
I think I want to see the Miss Patty show really
yes, you
badly.
Do. Yes, you
I want her backstory. I want a whole episode about her. She's the Ursula character, which is like the gay coded like drag queen lady. She's like the mom from Hairspray.
Yeah.
You know? Like
these references, yes.
Yeah. So I want her show.
She's fabulous. Yes. You know what? A spinoff just of her would have been phenomenal, I'm sure.
So don't give it away, but I hope she becomes a main character. I want her sitting at the table with them. I want her picking Rory up from school. I want her to marry Lorelai. But we'll hold on to that. About halfway through the episode, we meet Tristin. The hottie walks into class. He's late. He hands a note, and he goes, "Looks like a Mary." We get the first reference to Mary.
Have you ever heard of that reference, Mary?
No, we didn't.
Me neither.
Make fun of you. None of us were virgins in high school. There was
really I was.
And if you were a virgin, you weren't gonna be for long.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Plus, I was doing other things.
That's not a good reason to make fun of someone. You know what I mean? Like we could think of way better reasons to make fun of each other.
Well, the goody two shoes thing, where he's like bad boy Tristin.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Then we meet what I think is the most cartoonish character of all. We meet Paris.
Oh boy.
And Paris is like, all of her lines are hilarious. She's a mean girl, obviously, yes. And she's very clearly the villain. Like, she should have had a neon sign with arrows. Like, it was so over the top that I was like, I get it. I get that she's so far not a complicated character. She's just villain girl, mean girl.
I love that the fight is intellectual. I love that it's like, I'm going to be valedictorian. Not like, frivolous, dumb high school things. Like,
Couldn't Paris wait a minute and just see how Rory did in any class before saying valedictorian is mine?
No, because...
Stay out of my way?
No, because she read her file, and in her file, she never missed a day of school. She has a 4.0. She's somebody who...
So she's like, back up. I'm valedictorian. Is that... I just thought it was just so hilariously over the top. And I'm like, oh, we better watch out for this Paris girl. I don't know. She seems like bad news. What do you think? I don't know. So I suspect that this Paris girl is going to be mean. Moving forward. I don't know where I'm getting that vibe. I also hope they fall in love and make out, and that would be funny too. We get the line, drug dealers take the bus, which I think is very funny.
Drug dealers take the bus is it's layered because...
It's said about the school bus.
But it's not just... Drug dealers are the ones who don't take the bus because they have the nice car.
They have money.
They have the good job.
The working class takes the bus, you idiot.
The ones who can't hustle.
Right.
Me. I took a public bus to school.
Me too. Because we were drug dealers.
We were drug dealers.
Because we were dealing all those drugs in our backpacks. I mean, I took the public bus to deal drugs because first of all, in New York City, you don't need a car. Second of all, in New York City, you can't get a car till you're 18. Like, you can't get a
17.
license. Oh, is it 17?
You can get I got my license when I was 17. I wanted out. Yeah,
a permit or a full license? You had a full license at 17?
I had a permit at 16 and a full license at 17. And I knew that sexual consent was 17 because every cop would tell me about it when I was 17. Thank you, everyone. That was our world.
Sexy. Speaking of sexy, Tristan's not it. Who was the Derek character? Like, are we supposed to keep track of who Derek is?
Which one's Derek? I'm bad with names.
I think he scratched somebody's car he was fighting with a rich person in the lobby of the inn. And she's
the guy who parks the car parker.
Yeah,
valet.
The car parker. Oh, is he the valet? Okay.
Yeah, you don't need to keep track of every character. I don't know.
I'm writing them down because I don't know who's going to be important later.
Don't worry.
It's all my notes. I'm writing down the characters.
But I think that was just showing. There's a very specific female-male role in this show, and I think, and tell me if so far you see it, the male role is more coddled and like, oh, sweetheart, everything's going to be okay. You're so simple,
Right.
Like, yeah, I know, Derek, it's fine. Or, hey, sir, just have some lunch on us. Dessert?
Right. Every male needs to be treated like a toddler. I mean, that to me says woman in the writer's room. Hopefully.
That is true. Yes. Amy Sherman-Palladino, she was the creator, the writer, at least once the director. She is she's the person behind this show. And her husband would also be a writer and also be involved, and his name is in the opening credits as well, but she's the woman.
So yeah, you can tell women in the writer's room because the men are the
they're kind of dopes in this.
Yeah.
I think in general, they're first dopes and second have an actual thing to say, I think.
Right. It's like
yeah.
It's like in Thelma and Louise, where there's not a single redeeming male character in the entire movie. Every male they encounter is a scumbag, possibly except for Harvey Keitel.
Oh my God, I don't remember that movie. I mean,
you should watch it again, Saga.
I don't,
But not if you want to like boys. And it's crazy because it has a male director, Ridley Scott. Was it Ridley Scott? Don't look it up. Don't nobody look it up.
It's Ridley Scott now.
Yeah.
Also, I love that Lorelai is just impressed that the guy went to China.
Yeah.
Like, that's swoon, you know?
Yeah. So, okay. And then it ends with her giving Luke another once over. Because she had seen him in like a shirt the other night. Remember?
Yeah.
So now she's looking at, and I completely agree with Rory that you cannot date the cafe, your regular coffee shop owner. You can't do it.
Multiple times a day.
Where else are they going to go? I once ran into, I had a favorite sandwich place here in where I live, which I'm going to hold out on mentioning. And I ran into the manager who I knew by face. I didn't talk to him, but I knew he worked there at like the pickup bar.
Oh, the pickup bar.
Yeah. But there was a pickup bar in the mid-aughts. And so I start chatting with him and I'm like, oh my God. And I was like, we don't have to talk about work, but here's my opinion on all of your sandwiches. And we like hit it off.
Oh.
And we're chatting. And then he's like, I'll walk you home. And I was like, niggles. Because I don't fniggles was what I said in my head, by the way.
Okay.
It's F apostrophe. And yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say the F word, but then I was like, are we trying to keep this one clean? I said, fuck. I can't date this guy because
it's either sandwich or guy.
Yeah. And I choose sandwich.
Did you choose sandwich? You just 100% was like, no, but I'll see you tomorrow for that chicken parm.
We walked by a hospital and saw a guy lying face down on the ground. And I went into the hospital to tell them there was a guy laying face down on the ground in front. And they went, oh, yeah. And I was like, okay.
Oh, that's Bob. It's Tuesday. Come on.
that was their reaction. And then he continued. Like, I was like, all right, well, we did our good deed. Like, they know Bob's like lying on the ground face down and like he's directly next to a hospital. And then I was the whole time I'm going it over in my head. I'm like, if it doesn't work out with this guy, I can never go back to that sandwich shop.
So how did you let him down? Like, did he ask to come up, or were you just like, okay, thanks for walking me and just went in?
I killed him. I murdered him.
Oh, well, he was the guy laying face down.
Yeah, later.
Right. Well,
I had to kill him because if you
were
don't,
responsible about
it's either awkward to decline the guy. I can't, because then I can't go back in there either.
You did the right thing.
No, I let him down gently, and then waited till he moved on to another job, and now I can go back there. I did takeout for a while. It was so awkward. I turned him down.
Yeah. Aw. Well, so what? You also mentioned that you wore that lipstick, that like matted kind of red. The matte brown lipstick of the 90s. Yes. Well, so did I. And during our break, in between us watching it and us recording it, 15 minutes that we had, I found me in that lipstick.
Let's see it.
Hello.
Oh
Hi.
my God, that is the look. Look at you. Look at your wow, you are so. Yep, that was the look.
My hair's still wet.
I think I had that exact color.
Oh, it was Blackberry by Revlon was mine. and it looked actually black until you put it on, because
I
one
saw
layer
the word
would be-
mocha brown.
there was a mocha
something.
one too. Yes,
But the word mocha was definitely in the lipstick name.
I loved it. Loved it.
Um,
We'll get it.
yeah,
But
I gotta go find it.
my question was, okay, so we understand that Paris is the villain. Why didn't she let Rory help her out? She's got valedictorian coming up. Like, she can't mess up on her project. Rory did mess up her project. Why did she say be quiet and shut up and leave me alone?
Yeah, and why didn't she bring... Okay, so she didn't bring the ruined project into the classroom to show the teacher. It's not that I didn't do it. It's that it got damaged on the way to class.
I feel like it's one of those Crest things where it's like, you know...
You don't want to give excuses. You'd rather just say you don't have it and leave it at that rather than give excuses.
Yeah, with every one of these type of fancy schools, the teachers treat you well. You know, the teacher said, "Did you have ample time?" And she was like, "Yes, I did," because it's more honorable to sort of take the L and not blame it on someone else and make excuses and say my dog ate it. So even if your dog did eat it, I feel like
you
it's
just have
more...
to like stiff upper lip, like...
Yeah, but it's still weird because you're ruining what I set up. And
right. And then why was she so annoyed? I would have been like, yeah, thanks, Rory, you do it, or like, you owe me money. I don't know. Like, she had an opportunity to be like, if you want to help me fix...
No, because I would... Paris is such a perfectionist. Rory can't do what she does.
Rory can't help her.
Yeah.
And like, Rory looks super weak, where like the teacher's like, since you helped her ruin it, she has her accent, since you helped her ruin it, it's up to you to help her fix it, girls. And she's like, okay, yes, I'll help fix it. And then Paris is like, absolutely not. I don't know.
And a nemesis was born. You saw Rory switch.
But this is this quick writing of like, we need them to have a conflict and we need them to have to work together on something. I bet the next episode is them trying to work together on something, or like fighting over working together on something. I don't know,
but I love your predictions. So the other scene is when the DSL line is trying to be put in.
Oh, that's so.
And
take the free DSL, man.
Okay, I said the same thing because but then, you know, you're inviting your mom in. She's slowly taking over.
Then she owns the DSL. And
she makes you feel uncomfortable, and she throws it in your face every time she helps. So do you take the help knowing that your daughter will have a faster internet line and faster access to the information that she needs and wants? But you know that this, you know, it's the same thing. Why doesn't she let her mom buy Rory the clothes? You know, I don't think you need,
because it's one more thing. These are these tiny elements of control, and it makes her look like she can't do it. If you can't provide for your daughter, you know, and she's obviously very proud and like has worked really hard to get her daughter to this point. So like, no, back up, mom. And she says it. She's like, you know, as her mother, I'm the one buying the skirts.
Yeah. But do you think it warrants coming to the grandma's domain where she gets her hair done, you know, and making a scene there where she knows that her mom's going to be embarrassed? Is this a, hey, she asked for it sort of thing? Or is it, because I always didn't know where my line was, like, hey, you embarrassed me. You came to my house. You told people where my key was. You're going to let them into my house. I'm allowed to come into your house, into where you would be embarrassed, and light your life up and embarrass you. Do you think that this tit for tat is like, well, you can't blame Lorelai for doing it that way?
I don't blame Lorelai for doing it that way. I feel like she couldn't wait, first of all. I mean, she might have waited, but I don't think the Emily character is someone who can be reasoned with. I don't think if you wait until to have a polite conversation about it next Friday, it's going to work. So like, that dinner was only 3 days ago in the show's timeline, right? Because now it's Monday. And I don't think she could wait to have a polite conversation. It's already been too much. It's already overwhelming. She's pissed.
Yeah.
So she's going to get this done now. How did she figure out she was at the salon?
I think she has a standing appointment because that's what fancy people do. Yeah.
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 But
also, I know she does from later episodes, so I'm sorry. But that is what fancy
Spoilers.
people do. They have like a standing
Spoilers.
nail appointment.
I mean, my grandmother had a standing salon appointment. She really did. Grandma literally had one. Yeah.
There we go.
And we knew. It's like, oh, it's Tuesday.
There. So I think it's that. I think polite society has polite society appointments.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And since we're drug dealers who ride the bus, we don't have standing salon appointments. Am I guessing that right, or do you have one that I didn't know about?
No, I cut my hair last time I got a haircut
Yeah.
because you can't really tell where it starts and where it ends. So I'm lucky.
I actually went to a salon. I usually cut my own hair, but I went to a salon around my birthday as my own birthday treat.
They're very
to
handy.
myself.
Yeah.
No, this guy. I mean, they cut my hair. They did, but when I asked the guy questions about my hair, because when you ask the internet, it says ask your stylist.
Yeah.
Stylist.
That's the conversation I want to have with
Right,
the
but I
salon
don't
person.
have a stylist. So for my birthday, my present to myself was to find a stylist and ask them the questions about my hair. So I went, I paid way more than I would normally pay, especially for someone who usually pays $0.
It's a lot.
And I asked this guy's questions about my hair. You know what he said? He said, look on YouTube.
Ew.
And I was like, give me back my money. That's
Well, I hate that. I
Yeah.
hate that because,
so
you know, people
don't
like,
ask your stylist.
Yeah.
You don't have a stylist.
No.
Don't ask them. Whatever.
I bet if
so-
you had a standing appointment, you could ask your stylist.
If I had a standing appointment, I'd be like, hey,
Yeah.
Jimmy, hey, where's my appointment there? I don't
think
know.
it's more like, darling, it's fantastic. Yes.
Give me my appointment.
Ooh.
No, I don't
and-
have a standing appointment for anything beauty related. Maybe I should. So yeah, that brings us to Rory and Lorelai going over why she's being called a Mary.
Yeah.
And I think it was a little embarrassing that her own mother had to explain it to her.
I think
she's
it's
like-
fair, though.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm glad she did.
yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, oh, that they're calling you that because you're a virgin from your mom. You're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's all the notes that I had. I was nervous this whole I keep being nervous that, oh my God, nothing happened in the episode except in my heart, you know? Like there was, because a lot of things are just like these toxic conversations that are, you know, just a little sprinkling of gaslight and just a little sprinkling of whatever. So, yeah. But would you watch the third episode?
Yes, I'm invested now. I would give this episode like an 8.3.
Okay.
Here, wait, I should be writing these down, right? And I could make a little graph. What did I didn't rate the first episode. I'm going to give it a 7.8.
The first one? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so, okay. So slight improvement.
This is a
And
slight improvement.
These are high marks. I mean,
Yeah.
it's no
We
valedictorian.
didn't
but-
run into, I was surprised we did not run into Dean again
Right. Well, she's
from
not
the
in
other
that
school, because that was
yeah.
a plot point of the first episode, that he's gone. Does he ever come back? Don't tell me.
I don't know. They had
But
a
he
full
should, 'cause
40
the-
minutes to throw him in there. I don't know what happened.
They introduced a whole character.
Right?
The
You miss him?
I miss him. He was cute. I wonder if he and Tristin make out.
You keep linking people. I like this show that you're developing.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna watch it. But yeah, that's our thoughts for episode 2. Let's go into some trivia.
Okay.
Here comes some trivia. Episode 2 is called The Lorelai's First Day at Chilton. So
Okay.
nice and simple. You know, it went from pilot was the first episode to The Lorelai's First Day at Chilton. Very obvious, very clear. Original air date October 12th. The year is 2000. And my first question is, what role did Liza Weil, who played Paris Geller, originally audition for?
Rory?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
she
she
came
wasn't
in for
wholesome. She wasn't wholesome looking enough.
No, you're too mean.
Right. You have villain written all over you, not heroine.
You don't look like Virgin Mary.
Right.
No.
You're not a Mary, you're a Betty.
But check this out. The producers liked her so much that they actually invented the character. They created the character of Paris so that she can be in Gilmore Girls. So
Nice.
So it's interesting how you describe Paris. Like, what is this? This came out of nowhere. And in my head, I'm like, when I learned this, I had already watched it. I just learned this recently that she wanted the, well, not recent, but whatever. I had already seen it when I knew this. And I'm like, but they invented the Paris character. What were they going to have Rory do in school at all?
Right.
You know, like that was the whole school plot, is that she has to go up against.
It's like how on Breaking Bad, Jesse wasn't supposed to be in the whole series. He was only supposed to be in like a couple of episodes.
Oh.
And I was like, what would the series have been? Like,
right.
Like,
yeah.
No, Jesse, they just had amazing chemistry, if you will. So that is interesting. That like,
Isn't that
and
cool?
I guess they had good chemistry, the Rory character and the Paris character.
I don't know. I don't know that characters necessarily read with each other. I think they just fell in love with Liza. Like
that's awesome.
Right? Because I think Liza created these two roles for the other two mean girls that I don't think existed before the Paris.
So they just completely rewrote the entire show based on this one girl's audition.
Amazing, right?
That's amazing.
I kind of love that. I love that as like, you know, you're writing a show and this is kind of a wrench in your idea and you roll with it because you love it so much. Like, I love that. Oh my God.
That's great.
Amy. Hello, Amy. Okay. Here's my next question. Where was Gilmore Girls filmed?
Connecticut?
No.
Long Island?
Nope.
Hollywood?
Yeah. Well, so the first episode is the only episode that was in Unionville, Ontario, Canada.
I was gonna say Canada after because they always film in Canada. It's cheaper.
But then, so if you notice the beginning or like the set on the first episode, slightly different than the set on the second one. Luke's is on the corner because everything else after the second episode is where was it? In the Warner Brothers studio backlot in Burbank, California. And so Luke's was on the corner in there. And in the first one, it was like on the block, just as part of the block. So that's the difference. It's only one episode in Canada, the rest in California.
That's wild. I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder why
they had enough money for the pilot to sell the rest of the series to like the big money.
Yeah, they must have been saving like, oh, here's the pilot. We need to save money. We'll go to Canada. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So my third question, the DSL. What percent of them? Now, I don't know if people know what DSL is. People put in DSL. This was like the zhuzhed up version of internet. Only richer people had it. You know, like you were really spending money. So what percent of Americans had internet in their homes in the late 2000s compared to now in 2025? So I'm not even talking about just DSL.
You mean the dial-up?
How many people had internet, period, in their home?
I'm going to say 2000? This is American homes. What
American
percentage?
Homes, yeah.
I'm going to say 40%.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
About 42 to 50% of people had internet in their homes in 2000. Only about 4 to 5% had DSL.
Yeah.
And right now...
It was new.
Yeah.
It was the new hotness, yeah.
It was huge. About 96% of homes have internet now. Because it's like...
I'm surprised it's...
Well, I mean, you know, some homes don't have electricity. You know, like there are homes that are just really sheltered.
I mean, nowadays, like not having electricity, you could kind of still have the internet. You know, like if you have a phone with a network, you have the internet.
I guess I'm thinking like there's Amish, there's
I know.
very, very poor, there's...
Yeah. I hear you. And I'm just playing devil's advocate. But yeah, I remember going from... DSL to cable internet. And that was amazing. And that was in 2001. And that was back when like we got jobs, you know, and like the building was wired for cable and we were like, what does it take? And like we went from like dial up to, I think we went straight from dial up to cable. I think we skipped DSL.
Yeah.
And it was like light years. It was like going 2 miles an hour to going 1,000 miles an hour is how it felt to be on the internet.
And it probably was. I mean, I remember getting my first laptop and I'm like, oh, I am wireless. I don't have to be at my desk. Look at, I
Yeah.
am so I better not go out with this laptop because I'm going to seem super rich. This is crazy.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, like, people had laptops. I'm not first in technology, but it was absolutely unbelievable. When I first saw the iPhone's photos and how you could just take a picture and then like do the thing with your fingers.
Oh, yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, you're not real. You're the future. This is crazy.
The future. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my trivia for this episode.
Well, I did pretty good, I think. I got almost 2 out of 3. Well, my predictions for future, I think Tristan's bad news. I think he's got date rapist written all over him.
Ooh, you went absolutely there. Ooh, on the
Yeah?
WB. Okay.
If he, oh, that's right. None of them are cursing. And yeah, I think the Paris girl is bad news. It's going to be bad. And I think things are going to get messy with the coffee shop guy, with Luke. But I think Luke and Ian Jack are going to vie for the hand of young Lorelai.
What did you think of Luke's response to the Ian character? Because she was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna
Oh yeah,
date
because
him."
he's clearly into her.
Okay.
Because he was dismissive. He's like, "Yeah, you can't date that douche." Because he's like protective. I don't have a lot of their backstory though. Like I from all I can see, did they go to high school together, or like how did they know each other? Only from this shop, only from this professional customer relationship.
How would I know?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
So I think we're going to learn more about that. I think Rory's going to get arrested for doing whippets. And yeah.
Okay,
That's
so just a quick note to those who have seen the show many times. I think that you noticed where I nearly died when Carrie said certain things that she has no idea that they triggered things inside of me and I can't respond to them. Please, I mean, somehow DM me or something. But go past her because we don't want to spoil things.
This is the thing is like I want to know what is happening to you, but like
I know
if people email us, it's going to be weird because okay, if you email the show, just don't put spoilers in the subject line,
right?
And then you got to I can't read the emails. I can't trust anyone because I don't know what I'm doing to you. And like a year from now, when I know what I did to you by saying something or another, I'm going to be like, oh my God, I got to burger.
I'm going to start writing it down. I will write it down. You will have it write it down. And I'm going to figure out a way for people to get in touch with me to like dork out on the stuff that you say where I nearly pass out. So that's good. No, it has to happen. It has to happen.
I'm not allowed. I love how I have to be in this like protective bubble of no spoilers. And, like you have to do all the work. I'm like, because I can't read or talk to anyone.
I've never experienced something like this, and I highly recommend it. And so if you're going along as a fan, and I think like there's enjoyable parts from both sides of where we're seeing this from. Like for me, just my head nearly exploding at your certain things that you're responding to or predicting.
Is Tristan
or
gay? Tristan better be the gay character.
So yeah, so I hope you're enjoying this. We just finished our second episode.
Second episode.
I think we're closer. I think we're better friends.
That's it.
I need this in my life, so I appreciate it.
Well,
and
I'm eager to tape number 3 or to record number 3. We don't use tape anymore. I've been reminded. Yes. I'm eager to record number 3 because I want to see the 3rd episode.
Yes.
So
okay.
that's good.
I'll see you there.
All right.
High five.
Bye.